Well, I want to give a tribute to my Aunt Barb. I have to say I was very privileged. I had one of the greatest childhoods a kid could ever ask for, and a lot of that was due to Aunt Barb. Although we didn't live in the same state, she lived in Michigan and we lived in Maryland, or we lived in New York at one time. We'd always see Aunt Barb at least twice a year, at least Christmas time and in the summer, and those were always the best times. Every time we saw Aunt Barb, she always had a new game for us, a new card game, whether it's hearts or spades, or a new game that we would play, maybe Clue, or maybe some big puzzle she'd want us to put together. There was always something new going on with Aunt Barb. Every time we saw her, we got into something new, and it was always fun. Uh, Sometimes we'd end up going out to Michigan, and there she'd have a pool her and Uncle Mike and Grandma had bought and put in the backyard, or whatever. There was always something going on, and Aunt Barb always made everything great. In the summertime, we'd go to Michigan. We'd have the best times. Her and Uncle Mike and Grandma would come down and get us, and we'd go back to Michigan, and we just wanted to stay there. We never wanted to leave. We just had a blast. The best time. She would take us to the fairs, her and Uncle Mike and Grandma, and Uncle Mike would race his horses, and we just had the funnest times any kids could ever ask for. I mean, the best times, great times, always just good food to eat, fun, going to the stores, different things. We always had a blast, riding rides, going to the carnivals, just constant fun. That's what Aunt Barb was, just constant fun. We always had a great time. Aunt Barb invented something that she had her own invention, and it was called The Secret. One day we're looking around, and Aunt Barb's gone, and my sister Carrie is gone, and we don't know where they are, and everybody's saying, "Where's Barb? Where's Aunt Barb? Where's Carrie?" And none of us know where they are, and they're gone. And they show up back at the house probably about 2 hours later, and we're like, "Where have you been? Where did you go?" And they're real quiet, and, "Well, where were you?" And Aunt Barb's not saying anything, and all of a sudden she couldn't contain herself anymore. She started laughing at us, and she said, "We went on a secret." She invented the secret. "What's a secret? What's a secret?" We wanted to know. We didn't want to miss out on the secret. She said, "It's a secret. We went on a secret." So then we come to find out that her and my sister had gone to the Dairy Queen, which was a good treat for us because we lived out in the country, so it was a little bit of a drive to get there. And they had gone to the Dairy Queen on us, and that was called The Secret. And so every one of us would take our turns hitting up Aunt Barb for a secret. "When are we going to go on a secret, Aunt Barb?" And then we would come back, and it was always the same thing. We would laugh, and by then everybody knew where you were. If Aunt Barb was missing and you were with her, they know you went on a secret. And that was just some of the funnest times. It was funny because at the end of the summer, whenever Aunt Barb would leave, me and Dale and Guy and Carrie, we would cry like little babies. You just wouldn't believe it. We would just bawl our eyes out because Aunt Barb and Uncle Mike and Grandma were leaving. Oh my gosh, it was just crazy. And if we had to leave Michigan, and when we were leaving there, we were going with our parents or whoever, we would cry like babies half the way, for a half hour before we on our trip away. So anyway, we just loved Aunt Barb. We had the best times in the world. I want to just fast forward a little bit because that's when we were kids. Well, when I was 21 years old, I want to tell a funny story about Aunt Barb. Her and had just finished my first semester at Bible college, and I was this on fire Christian. I was going to reach the whole world for Jesus. And so anyway, I go out to visit in Michigan, and Aunt Barb and I are talking, and she said, "Well, Craig, what can you do?" She said, "What can you do?" She said, "Craig, I wish you could go to the bars, because," she said, "they have this new thing at the bar. They have this mechanical horse that you ride at the bar, and it tries to throw you off." And she said, "I know you'd be really good at that." But she said, "Can you go to the bar?" And I said, "Heck yeah, Barb, we'll go to the bar. I'm going to ride that horse." I said, "I'm going to preach to the bar." She said, "Craig, I don't think you should be preaching in that bar." She said back then people weren't as open-minded as they are now, by the way. This was 30-something years ago. But anyway, she said, you shouldn't, I don't know if you want to preach in this bar, Craig. She said, I don't know. I said, Aunt Barb, I'm going to go ride that horse and I'm going to preach in that bar. That's what I'm going to do. And she laughed. She said, all right, Craig, let's go. So we're going. So on the way there, she has to stop. I don't know if we stopped a couple times or not. She has to stop by her friend's house. Hey, come here. They were out in the yard. Hey, come here. She'd call him over the window. This is my nephew, Craig. He's going down to, and I can't remember the name of the bar, the Wild West bar or whatever it was called. But anyway, she said, he's going to the bar, he's going to ride the horse, and he's going to preach to the bar. And she was laughing, and her friends were laughing. Like, oh, Craig, you just better watch out. He's going to preach in that bar. So they just thought that was so funny. So anyway, we get to the bar, and there's the big horse and the mechanical horse in the middle. I didn't know anything about those things. And so I told the guy, my Aunt Barb's there, and she's just like grinning and laughing because she knows what's about to happen. And I told the guy, I said, my Aunt Barb told me about these horses. I said, I haven't been to a bar in a long time, but I said, I'm gonna ride this horse, and I'm gonna preach in your bar. And so the guy said, what? I said, yeah, I'm gonna ride your horse and I'm gonna preach in your bar. And Aunt Barb started laughing because she knew what was coming. That guy stuck me on that horse, and I think he was gonna teach me a lesson. He put that thing on full throttle my first time on there, and boom, I fell off that thing in 2 seconds. Aunt Barb laughed. We had so much fun. But anyway, I think I might have wrote it a couple times. Long story short, I obviously never did preach in that bar, but we left, and she was laughing, and she told that story everywhere we went. She said, yeah, he was going to preach in the bar. You should have saw him ride the horse. And we had so much fun. But that's Aunt Barb. Aunt Barb was always fun, and it was always great to be around her. It's interesting because years later we came out to Michigan and we were visiting with her and Grandpa McElhaney, and sure enough, you get there and what's out in the backyard? One of those backyard pools, and my kids got in the pool, and of course they loved Aunt Barb. They always had fun with Aunt Barb too. So we're gonna miss Aunt Barb, and I wanted to give this tribute to her. And I just loved Aunt Barb, and I thank God for her. She was just a great aunt, and I've called this tribute. This is my tribute to Aunt Barb. I call it to Aunt Barb, the funnest, best aunt a kid could ever have.